I want to show you something very cool I just did in Claude Cowork, and I'm going to show you like the innards behind it, how much memory processes it's been taking up on my Windows machine after just installing this yesterday. So up here in the top right, this is my Claude Cowork window, and it's just like your chat window in Claude regular, only it will process tasks for you. So I've done two little recent things here. This is one, and it shows you the progress over here on the right-hand side, and then it's just a regular chat window here. The difference is it does things for you on your computer, which in my case is going to save me a lot of time with just this one use case that I've been messing with for thumbnails for videos. And I want to show you, let me just show you what we did, and then I'll talk about the details. I had the idea of, hey, I'm recording a bunch of product review videos, and in each product review video, I'll hold up whatever the product is up to the camera like this, and I'll say something to intro the video. But I've been trying to put those up to the camera at the very beginning of the video so that I've got a frame I can screenshot for the thumbnail to the video. Simple. Doesn't take a long time, but when you do 10, 15 videos a day, some days when I do a lot of recording, it can take a long time. So what I asked Claude to do a minute ago, and I'll show you the timer, it only took a couple minutes for it to do this on 6 videos or 5 videos as a sample run, is I gave it the folder with the video files, and that is, let's see, back over here. Yeah, right here. So I had a folder with the video files right here, and you have to put this in your user directory in order for Claude to be able to have access to it. And that's just a security thing. So I made a folder over there for Claude to mess around in so it can sandbox the stuff that we're working on. And then I put these sample videos in there. I said, okay, Claude, here's what I want you to do. Let's scroll up to the top. There's a folder called videos. Can you scan each of the videos and generate a JPEG thumbnail in 1080p that appropriately showcases the item? So it went through and did that. It actually, and I'll show you the ones it gave me, or actually I can pull it up here because yes, there's a preview window also built into Cowork, which is sweet. So it went through and it gave me these product shots. And I didn't really care for a couple of them like that one. And I didn't want the pill shot. That's creatine. I wanted the bottle. So then I said, hey, try again. This time only look at the first 10 seconds or so of the video. And so then it did. It only looked at the first bits of the video where I'm doing those product shots. And these are what it saved, which is perfect. Almost perfect. I turned it around on that one, but it actually looks still pretty good. And then it didn't want me holding up, I don't know where it is, the sunglass case on this one. So it actually said, as you can see up here, hey, the one exception are these sunglasses. At 2 seconds, you were holding the case. So it skipped forward to get this clip, which will work perfectly fine. These are Amazon influencer videos. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to showcase the product. I'm really impressed with this. Now, what I also did at the same time, let's see here. I started a timer. That was about 2.5 minutes is what it took for the first little bit to actually do this stuff. And the thing about Cowork is I can go off and do something else while this is working in the background. So I'm really a big fan of this. Then down here, I've been looking at the actual memory usage. So here's my task manager, and you can see this VM memory. Can I write on the screen? Yes, I can. So this right here, this is the virtual memory that's being used, VM stuff. It's got to fire up the WSL2, WLS2, whatever the Windows virtual machine environment. When I was installing this initially yesterday, the Claude Cowork, it actually said, hey, you got to run a virtual environment and you got to enable this on your computer. Click yes to continue, and it restarts the computer and enables that. This is what it's talking about. Cowork, when it's going and doing stuff on your computer, it's doing these things. I guess it's doing the processes. You can yell at me in the comments because I don't know the technical details exactly, but it's working all this out in a virtual machine. So if your machine doesn't have, for instance, Python or something installed, and it needs to run some Python code, well, it can just fire that up in a safe, protected virtual environment and then execute what it needs to do with that on your machine itself, the real machine, if you will. Okay, very cool, right? So right over here, here's the folder of the videos, and I didn't specify where to save it, so it ended up saving it from that video folder. It saved the thumbnails, as you can see, right out here outside of the folder. And I mean, as you can see, these are great thumbnail shots. They work just as good as if I were to go through like I have been and actually take the screenshot myself, throw them into Canva, put some text on it. I don't have to do that anymore. So big time saver for me. I'm impressed with how this works. I don't know why I've been putting off Claude Cowork for a while. I kind of viewed this as a non-technical or a more non-technical way to use Claude. But in actuality, this has got the chat built in. This is the desktop app, incidentally. This is the desktop app for Claude. It's got chat built in, which is the regular chat. I mean, this is the regular deal that you would access on the web application. You can see I've been asking it about the VM situation because I was wondering about the Windows virtual environment. So it's got this, but then it's got the Cowork up here where it will execute, and it says it's made to execute non-code tasks. So this is for knowledge workers, for data analysis, for things like I just did, for things that you could use code to do, but they're like not coding tasks. I mean, it'll still write code for you if you want it to, but really that's what the code tab is for. Switch over here, and this is Claude Code with a UI in case you are not comfortable in the terminal firing this up just in a blank terminal. My understanding after listening to some interviewers who work on the Claude Code team is that there are some differences actually between the Claude Code in the desktop app and the Claude Code in the terminal, although sounded like they weren't even entirely sure why there were differences because it's built on the same stuff. So there's some sort of difference here. I don't know. If you know, can you tell me in the comments below? The big point is you now have an entire user interface, a graphical interface for using all of these three parts of Claude just right here on Windows or Mac OS. I'm using Windows, which arguably is often the more clunky version for stuff like this because developers have been making things kind of Mac OS, Linux OS first with them in mind. It can often take more effort to spin up things on Windows, but I have found that not to be the case or with Claude Cowork. So if you want to see me install this for the first time and prove that point, it did not take long and it was pretty simple to do. I'll leave a link for that somewhere on the screen or in the description or both from when I installed this literally just yesterday. So this is day 2 for me of using Cowork. I'm impressed. I like it. I will continue to use this as my default place to access Claude, I believe, because you can then pick up conversations if I'm chatting with it here. These are my conversations from the web app, so I can switch back and forth if I'm away from this. What do you think? This has been cool for me. Hope you have a good one.